friends, I'm glad you're here with me today. We're going to do a springtime get ready with me. We've got Easter right around the corner. I'm feeling just a big seasonal change and it's time to do a springtime look. So this is going to be a full face. I just have random products that I've chosen. Some are drugstore, some are high-end. It's going to be a mix. I've got my sweet capybara cup from my pal Hillary. It's going to be a great day. You know, so much comes from the way you declare the day to be in the morning. I'm not saying you can't have little resets throughout the day and kind of, you know, something happens, something stressed you out, and then you can turn over a new leaf, as I like to say. But I think a lot of momentum comes from starting your day with a positive vibe. I'm going to use some of this from e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. It's a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter type of product, and it's probably one of my lesser used ones because I have several things that are like that in my collection. I don't reach for this that often, so I thought let's just use that. Trying to figure out what the shade is. That took me way too long. I think the shade is 2. So I'm going to swipe this on my face. It's going to give me kind of like a glowy primed look. Swoop and swipe. And I'll grab out my e.l.f. Duo brush to blend that in. Guys, we had a really great weekend this past weekend for the Kansas City cheer competition we went to. It was put on by the company Redline. And I don't know who's copying who because Deep South Spirit did a glow tour 2 weeks prior, but Redline does it too. And it was a really big competition. And I really enjoy Kansas City. We were in the area of, I guess our hotel was technically on Main Street, and I wanted something that wasn't too far from the venue, which was Hy-Vee Arena. And as it turns out, there's the most amazing little streetcar that goes up and down Main Street, which I thought was so fun. So we rode that one morning when we had some extra time. I enjoyed all the people in Kansas City. I thought the drivers in and around Kansas City were less crazy than drivers elsewhere. I just enjoyed the vibes of Kansas City. I love the food. We got some amazing barbecue. I think it was Jack Stack something. It was delicious. Bub's parents had met us there. Everybody enjoyed everything they had. Look how glowy I am, by the way, now. I'd been to Kansas City once before when Kaylee was working there, and I had a great time there then. But really enjoyed the city, and the only thing I would say is Hy-Vee Arena was really hot. I don't know if that's a complaint people have about that place like all the time for different events, but when we went in there, it was not so bad in the lobby and in the surrounding areas, but inside the actual arena, it was really hot. But I was super proud of Belle and her team, and it was just a good time. Moving on, we are going to use some of this Wet n Wild Niacinamide skin tint. I have this in light medium. This is really thin and still does manage to give some kind of light to medium coverage. I feel like I get a similar look on my skin actually to when I wear Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. My end result ends up being similar with both products. Hyaluronic acid, peony extract. I'm going for just kind of like light layers, possibly a more glowy look than usual today. I was kind of hoping I'd have my Catrice order by now. I've gotten a bunch of new things from their website, and my tracking has been crazy because at the start of this week, it said it was in a nearby town, like really close, within half an hour. Before that, it was in St. Louis. So it went from St. Louis to there, and then I checked the tracking yesterday, and it says it's in St. Louis again. What in the world happened? Is it gonna get here? I don't know. Now, I am extra glowy because I've got the e.l.f. underneath. I wouldn't be quite this glowy just with this product alone. But see how it's giving me like a nice little light to medium coverage level? I like that. And then I am using a newer concealer. This is the Essence Silky Blur Hydrating Longwear Concealer. I really liked the way this looked on my skin yesterday. They sent me some. They sent me a lot of different shades actually, and I realized that shade 80 seems exceptionally light, so I'm going with 100 today. Big shade range with this product. This might still be light too, but I didn't have really that hard of a time blending it yesterday. So this weekend is Easter. As the helper to the Easter Bunny, I have come up with a few things for the baskets and then realized that I may have left out the Cadbury cream eggs. So I did come up with some of those yesterday. To me, that's the most essential part. It's not Easter if there's not some of those and some peeps involved. So I'm spreading my concealer. As you can see, it spreads well. I could probably wear a shade or even 2 deeper, but I do like the brightening. Okay, and then I'm going to take my larger end like I like to do and just dab it in. Why is that preserving the coverage? Well, you're not applying the most targeted pressure when you're using this larger side. You're just tapping it over everything. You're ensuring that it's blended, but you're not taking anything away or possibly over blending. So that's why I like this approach. And after recently using the IT Cosmetics equivalent brush, or really the one who started everything with this style of brush for me, I feel like the e.l.f. is more dense, which is crazy. But you gotta get you one if you're not using this. And I will say, for anybody new here, I do link everything I'm using and all my brushes in order beneath the videos, okay? So I know if you're watching on a phone, it might be a couple of taps to like expand that section, but there's a lot of info in there. So what kind of coverage did that concealer give? I feel like it was pretty good, but it also, there's a lightness to it. It's not as thick as a camo concealer or, you know, any of the ones that I'd put in that category, but yet I do feel like I have good coverage. I also have a setting powder to use today. This is my L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection in the pink light shade. Biscuits is just sitting here, just taking it all in, listening to all of my wisdom. Let's tap some of that on. Just tapping that in, and you know, a little loose powder over the concealer never fails to just add that little extra bit of perfected look. I mean, it's not like it's really loading on more coverage, but it's just making everything look a little less dewy, more even. When everything's super duper dewy, light's catching everywhere, and it's just sometimes not looking quite as even as it could. But I'm thinking about how my staying power will be later in the day. We're gonna have a soccer game. Gonna possibly have some rain today, gonna be running people to and fro later in the day. So I don't wanna have to touch the look again, really. So that's why I'm really aware of like, okay, nose, between the brows. Those are areas where the makeup likes to break down a little. I shouldn't say break down. I just show a little oil there, and this will help prevent an actual breakdown of product. Now look, not quite so glowy anymore, are we? We still have some glow to the skin, and I feel kind of tacky, but the areas where I want to be covered, I'm feeling really good about things. Then I just pulled out this into my little bag. See, I grouped everything into a bag. I was organized today. Infallible Fresh Wear. This is the foundation in a powder. The shade is True Beige. It's just one of those nice little powders if you're wanting to lightly go over the look and feel a bit more set. That's what I'm doing. Oh, Bisky, you're laying on your back. She's the cutest. So I had gotten some Taco Bell earlier in the week, and I was on the DoorDash app. As I'm selecting my drink, which if I'm getting Taco Bell, I like the Baja Blast Zero sugar. I noticed they had an option that said make it dirty. Just because I'm late to the party doesn't mean I don't know the party's happening. I'm aware of the fact that there's like cream or something that's added, a little bit of cream added to the soda, and I'm not sure exactly what Taco Bell's using, but they're adding something that makes your drink creamy. And when I tell you that was the best thing I had, like, wow, I was blown away, blown away. If somebody knows what exactly it is that they're putting in there with that pop, let me know, but it was good. Okay, just a light bit of that powder. I'm feeling like the transfer risk has gone down greatly all over the rest of my face. Then as I was laying in bed last night before I fell asleep, I thought about this palette, this Hyper Natural Face palette, which I actually quite like from Natasha Denona. I think that there are some high-end palettes that really make themselves worth it, and this is one of those. I've done videos on this in the past. It's a huge multitasker, and I was thinking of like the pink in here, and I was thinking about how, you know, there's shimmer in all these shades, but it makes me feel a spring vibe. And then just the ease of everything else that's in here. You've got your like bronzer contour. What is it about pans that aren't split that makes you think just blending free for all? Tap into anything. Bounce over here, bounce over there. Get both parts of the blush. Like, I feel so invited to do that when the shades are not split, but they're just, you know, the color. So we're going to use some of that bronzer today. We're going to have fun. The bronzer seems matte. I'm going to just tap into everything. Got a great mirror on there. I need to be traveling with that. When we were traveling this past weekend, I took my Hourglass palette, my Swan one. I do like taking those because it's so much in one. We stayed at a Home 2 Suites. That's great for, you know, a couple nights stay. You got kids, you'll have a little downtime in the room and they want to be able to play and do stuff. Just that little extra amount of space is so nice. Plus they had an absolutely rockin' breakfast in the morning. They had this whole warmer area and the guy running it was 2 thumbs up. In this warmer, you've got warm biscuits, great biscuits. You've got like little egg circles, you've got sausage, bacon, they had various kinds of cheeses out, you could make your own little sandwich or you could just put it together on your plate, sauces to put on it, they had cereal and yogurt, they had pancakes. Everybody found something they liked, so that was good. I'm still just kind of going back in, slowly building. See what I'm doing here? I'm once again tapping into all the shades like this and I'm slowly just adding it in, getting a little contour going. It's so easy. Had anyone else kind of sort of forgotten about this palette? So good. And the surface of my skin still, even with powders on it, I've still got a little gleam going. And then this blush, half of it looks red, half of it looks baby pink. I can get into that. So I'm gonna tap first into the red and then kind of temper it with a little bit of the light pink, tap off excess. And we will have a fresh, springy cheek. Anybody else still love sidewalk chalk? I think it's so much fun. In front of the house we play Foursquare, me and the girls, a lot. Turns out to be 3 square because it's usually the 3 of us playing and Rhett is doing lawn work. Tapping in a little bit more to the like rosy red side, but we decorated each of our squares and it was so cute. Fresh cheek, not too dark and intense, but there's life there. Then I'm thinking, what if we keep the glow going? This has a little sparkle in it, but I feel like this shade actually, it's not like super intensely pink, but it might be pretty just on the cheek, giving a little light to this zone. I'm using it like it's a blush topper, okay? It's pretty. Get a little on. Ooh, that's nice. I don't think I've ever done that before. We're going to set you aside. I'm going to move into some brows. I'm using my Morphe. It's the micro brow pencil. It's the size of a Brow Wiz, so it's a skinny brow pencil size. Shade is Java. It's very deep, but it's very good. I could use a Home 2 Suites breakfast this morning, I tell you. And the guy running it was the one who informed us that the streetcar usage was free. It's a free streetcar. So fun. When I tell you Rhett had a blast on that thing, whew, he loved it. We need more streetcars. Okay, and then just brush it on through. I filled that one in super quick. I think we're supposed to have a lot of rain here on Saturday. Might make for some soggy outdoor Easter egg hunting on Easter Day. I think Bub's gonna make a ham. Smoke a ham, I should say. And that brow all filled in. You know what I'm really proud of with cheer? My disassembling process. Like immediately after a competition. Okay, so we're in Kansas City. The performance time wrapped up at like 4:30. And I know time is of the essence. We got to get on the road. We got to get home. You know, this is a Sunday night. We got a 5.5-hour drive ahead of us. So she's not going to be riding home with the whole hair piece in and bow and uniform and all that. And I don't love undoing all that on the floor of a bathroom. Yuck. One thing about cheer competitions is there are cheerleaders everywhere along the perimeter. Hallways, you know, you will see groups of them sitting. Cheer squads at these big competitions, they are taking up all the extra space. So you just got to find yourself a little area where you can change. And I found that quiet small area and quickly got every bobby pin out, the whole hairdo done. She's out of the uniform. She's into some comfies. We do that quickly. I practically want to put that on video and show you guys like how fast we just zoom through that process so we can get done and get out on the road. I'm practically more proud of that process than the getting her ready. Okay, so I've done my brows. I'm gonna prime my lids and then we're gonna hop right back into that palette we were using and do kind of a light, shimmery, just like an eye that feels springy. I fear I got a lot of eye primer on there. When I'm using this palette, I do like to go to the bronzer shades first just to get something going in my crease for a little contrast, you know, so I might go between these lightest two colors and just use my crease brush and get that locked down. Look at that, we're just going back, forth, a little light color. Something about that just makes me feel good, that I've got a little matte involved in the look somewhere, somehow. Clean off my brush, blend a little. There's this color called Casual here at the end. It's kind of like a soft grayish silver. I'm sort of into that because I oftentimes will use this one as my deepening color, and they all have shimmer. They do. One's called Everyday. That could be like, you know, one shadow look vibes, kind of bronzy, kind of soft, taupey bronze. There's a dark brown. This shade's got kind of a glossy shine to it, and then the pink is looking extremely softly pink, but that color is there. There's your brown. Okay, we've introduced all the players, but I think I'm going to take some of this one called Casual, which is looking a little cooler grayish with my Morphe M303, and I'm just kind of seeing what that would be like here on the outer corner. I think I like this, and I think I want to take it upward too. Flipping my brush, you know, it's softer than a lot of things that I put out in this zone, but it's still got some depth, and it will have some depth compared to what's on my inner part of my lid, what I end up putting there. I kind of like this. So I'm just raising it up, allowing it to take up some more room, using my crease brush, just blend it out. Again, the shade is called Casual. I love the shade names: Everyday, Dreamy, Statement, Soft, and Casual. I even picked up just a little more of the shade on this brush because I just feel like it's so easy to work with. Look, we're getting lift in a really soft way. Then I'm going to take Soft right here with my Morphe M302, so a little smaller brush. Oop, need a little more on it. But I'm placing this over the remaining lid space. And the sheen is just, it's not off the charts. It's shimmery, but this is very everyday friendly. There we've added Soft to the inner part of the lid. And then, you know what I want to see? I want to see a little bit of Dreamy. Because of the way this is, it's like a more of a glaze, like a sheer glaze. Let's pop that center of the lid. And this way, when your head is turned, you know, that's just going to be catching some light. Yes, love. Let's also do some of the shade Casual on the lower lash line. In a concentrated way, you know, it can give a little depth. Loving. When I think spring eye looks, I think there's a softness. I can do some more like working in some soft color types of spring eye looks, but this is the kind of light, sort of airy quality that I envision. Do I want to do liner? Do I not want to do liner? I'm thinking, no, let's really just play up the mascara. I'm going to use my Milani Fan Club, which just builds up for me these days like none other. So curling the lashes, we're going to curl them well. Okay, and then just the amount of product this brush holds is kind of spectacular. It's not like too clumpy or anything, but you just immediately get the benefit of it. And I think I might have gotten some on my lid. Doggone it. Oh, there's a fleck on my nose? I'm never this messy with this stuff. I got it in like 2 places on my eyelid, guys. If you do that, don't panic. Don't immediately try to wipe it off. Letting it dry is your friend. You should be able to flake it away once it gets dry. Coming at it too soon just smears it out. Okay, see how I'm loading it up? Loading it up. I'm gonna deal with my mistakes. I'm probably gonna add a coat. BRB. Okay friends, I added another coat of mascara to the uppers. I used my e.l.f. lash extender on the lower lashes. This is a tubing mascara that's not gonna smudge away on me down there, so I get really good wear all day having this on. That's why that's a daily use item. In the flaking away of my mistakes, I just use a little spoolie brush. You can use the spoolie that's on the end of your brow brush, whatever. You just flake it away after it's dry, but given the fact that we have this kind of light veil of shimmer, I was concerned that I might have removed a little bit of that too, so I went back in with a little more Dreamy and just patted it over where I had my mess up. And my camera just cut me off, but I was saying I feel like it's pretty undetectable what went down there now. Now you can blink down onto your finger a little bit and reinforce the curl. Look at that. So much lash for me. Then for the lips, I was thinking about keeping it just as simple as a one-step product here. I wanted soft pink. This is the Glow Reviver Slip Stick from e.l.f. and the shade is called Love Slick. And it's a really cute pink. See it on here. Here's some color. I mentioned in my spring lips video, kind of not feeling the need for being so fussy with the lip look, and I truly think this can be a nice little one-step thing. I feel defined enough. That's such a pretty color. I like the smell on these too. There's a light kind of fruity scent going on, and magnetic closure. So that, my friends, wraps up my little springtime face. I'm feeling super good about it. I feel like my skin overall has a little more glow than usual, but I'm mattified in the areas where it matters to me to be matte. I could see this look going to church on Easter morning. I could see you taking this look to work, just any kind of casual daytime activities. This palette is so nice, and what I didn't really get into was the full depth of it, because you can get darker with that shade. You can get a little more like bronzy taupe with this. Think about just if you did this stuff in the crease and then just a little bit of this on the lid, easiest look ever. I'm going to be taking advantage of this palette a lot going forward. And I guess I could look up other videos and other looks and put them down below in the info box if you want to see, you know, some more takes on it. But yeah, thank you for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you soon in my next video. I love you. Bye.